Let's crack it. This is a tagline which reflects the enthusiasm and sincerity towards a goal. So, we all at Unacademy, let's work together as a team and work hard and sincerely to ace the exam, to crack the exam in the single go. Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Vibha Hans in front of you all, and welcome all of you to the YouTube channel of Unacademy. So, I am here to talk about IELTS. I'm here to share my IELTS knowledge with you all. And this is a special session which is being conducted, and this is absolutely free of course for everyone to attend. Anyone and everyone can attend the session, and in case you like the session and you want to connect with us, join our live sessions where we talk in detail about IELTS, all modules, all aspects, all details about IELTS. Why? Because our main motive is to give you the apt information, give you the apt strategies so that you can crack the exam in the very first go, right? So in case you want to be a part of it, hi Shivani, welcome to the session. In case you want to be a part of it, so this is my referral code, that's my name, Dr. Vibha Hans. So you can connect with me through Unacademy and be a part of my live sessions, right? So talking about the session today, now I'm talking about IELTS reading module, overview and strategy. So I think all of us know that there are two categories of the exams, that is the academic training and the general training. So the reading passages are actually different for both of them, but however the strategy, it remains the same. You should know how to pick up and locate your answers from those passages. So when it's a reading module, we are basically at the receiving end, because the passages, they are providing us with the passages. So they are delivering the passages and we are receiving the passages, but we have to locate the answers. And the point is, we should know the correct techniques of locating the answers in a given time frame, right? So we'll talk all about it in this session. So Shivani, I think you had a question on something related to reading. So you can come up with a question here, and I think I'll try my best to give an answer to that here, right? So the very first thing which I start with, before I will just talk about this before I start my session, is to control your stresses. This is very important because the entire exam, although we know what has to be done, but out of stress we tend to miss on the correct answers, even though it is in front of our eyes, 100% in front of our eyes, right? So generally what happens when we are under stresses, when we are panic struck, our efficiency goes down, our output comes down, right? And this is the expertise, this is the skill which we have to utilize to get the correct answers in a limited time frame, to get the best of our performances here, right? So the very first thing which is, we have not to panic, we have to just keep ourselves relaxed, cool, calm before we start taking the exam, so that we perform the best. The other thing is time management. So yes, this is very, very important, because in the reading test, if I will have 26 to 40. So this is how they'll be divided, and every part will have different sets of questions. For example, here you get multiple choice questions and fill-ups, and you can answer all of them in 60 minutes. So you will get no extra time to transfer your answers, right? As you know, in the listening test, they play a recording which is 30 minutes recording, and then you're given 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers from the question paper to your answer sheet. But here in the reading exam, you are not going to get any extra time to transfer your answers. So whatever you write, you will have to write directly on the answer sheet. Or if you are not that comfortable writing in the answer sheet, you want to write it on the question paper, but then you will have to take out your own time to transfer your questions, transfer your answers from the question paper to the answer sheet, right? Because no extra time is provided. 60 minutes means 60 minutes. You have to locate your answers, and you have to finally write your answers in the answer sheet all in 60 minutes. So what are the passages actually they give you? They are no story. That's not a story. So that's a disadvantage, because if it is a story, we can use some of our predictions, we can use some of our guesswork, but this is not a story. What are they actually? They are the extracts from the journals or the magazines or the newspapers, right? So, I mean, topics would be very new. It would be very rare that you have gone across those articles, but yes, if you are a good reader, if you are a vivid reader, there is a possibility that you have read those, but generally there are some different topics, right? And there is a level of difficulty which raises from passage 1 to passage 3. But it's not that always passage 3 is the most difficult. It's considered to be the most complex, but you don't have to go by the complexity of the passage. Go by the complexity of the questions, type of questions. We'll talk about it in the coming slides, right? Now, there is a big passage. For example, it's a 2500 words passage, and you have 5 or 6 paragraphs in it, right? So you don't have to underline or understand the whole passage. That's not required, right? You have to just underline the keywords. Keywords as in what the question talks about, something related to that, or some name or some dates. Those are called the keywords, or something very different which is just coming out from the normal passage. That's the only you should underline that part. And the other thing is, you will not get any direct answers in your passage. You will have so many questions, you will have 40 questions, but you will have no direct answer. Please do not look for exactly the same words which you find in the question. Don't expect those words to be exactly the same in your answers, right? You could have some synonyms, some antonyms, something related to that in your answers in the paragraph. So here you will have to be very well versed with the synonyms, antonyms, related words. Okay. For example, in the question they are talking about something expensive, right? Which is, so for example, this is very expensive. Any product, what would I say? This bag is expensive, right? But in the passage, you will not, there is very less chance, even less than, I would say, 1%, that you will find the word expensive in your answer in the passage. You might have something written like, this bag is not cheap, right? If you know that expensive and not cheap, they mean the same, then only you can pick up your answer. So this is where we have to be well versed with good vocab, synonyms, antonyms, and related words. Shivani talks about summary compilation. Shivani, where do you find in the reading paragraph? Are you talking about the fill-ups? Because in reading we do not have any summary. I mean, they can give you a passage, a paragraph, which is 100% from the passage, and you have to pick up the missing words from that. Yeah. So you know what happens is, they give you a paragraph, right? A complete paragraph. Box summary. I really couldn't understand. Or else there are two boxes where they have A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to correlate these answers. Are you talking about this? I can't see your comment. So you have to link and locate your answers, right? That's what I told you. They're not going to give you direct words. You will have no direct answers. You will have to pick up the linking words and the locating words. Yeah, summary, compilation, and give some option. No, but are you talking about the same thing which I'm talking? They give you two boxes, and you have to correlate the two boxes. Is it like that? Is it what you are asking for? All right. So when we do, it's just the type of questions are, they give you the instructions properly. So you have to read the instructions very, very carefully. Correct? If they say you may use any letter more than once, so there is the option that they give you two boxes. I think this is the question Shivani is trying to ask me. For example, they give you option A here, B here, C here, right? And here they give you something in Roman numerals written 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So if they write you may use one letter more than one, so there is the option that you get the answer 1 here, you can get the answer 1 here. Do not confuse yourself that you have already attempted one, so this has not to be the answer, and you try to focus yourself on the other answers. So for that reason, reading the instructions very carefully is very important, right? Then they ask you write true, false, and not given, or write yes, no, or not given. So many of us think that both of these are more or less the same. Yes, more or less they are same, but yeah, there is a slight difference between the two. If I talk about true, false, and not given, so this talks about some factual thing or factual comment. Whereas if they talk about yes, no, or not given, so that is the writer's opinion, right? So you have to see what correctly they are asking. If it's exactly the same, so that's either true or yes, depending on the type of question. If that is absolutely opposite, contraindicating, or something else than what is given, so that has to be false. And not given means if you do not find any such information in the passage, then you have to write not given, right? The other thing is they could ask you choose no more than 2 words from the text. So please look at this, read this instruction very carefully. When it ask you no more than 2 words, means it has to be 2 words, right? You cannot write 25 beautiful girls. This will be wrong. Why? Because your word 1 is this, word 2 is this. This is an addition. If you write this, although your answer should be correct, but since you have added an extra word, so that will be marked wrong, right? So please be careful about these small things. Then choose the correct heading and use 1 to 9. If they ask you in Roman numerals, you will have to use Roman numerals only. If you write 1, 2, 3, 4, again that will be marked wrong, even if your answer is correct. Complete the summary using the list of words A to I option in the box. So that's a paragraph, right? Is it, Shivani? So that's a paragraph. So I think talk about this. You can get connected to me through my email ID. This is Dr. Vibha Hans. My reference code @gmail.com. So I think I'll try to understand your question better if you give it to me, because what I can decipher out from your comment here is that you're talking about a paragraph, right? You can get connected with me, Shivani, and my email ID is, this is like Dr. Vibha Hans @gmail.com. Right? get connected with me, and I think I'll try to solve your question, because I cannot be giving you the passage here, right? Yeah. Now, coming back to the question is, choose the correct heading and use 1 to 9. I was speaking that if they're asking in Roman numerals, you will have to answer only in the Roman numerals. If you write 1, 2, 3, or if you write A, B, C, even though your answer is correct, that will be marked wrong. Correct? So that is the reason, where you have to read the instructions very, very carefully and answer according to that. Don't spend too much time reading passages. You don't have that much time to spend a lot of time on reading passages and understanding the passages. No. You have to actually just locate your keywords, locate your answers, and that's the it. Why? Because you're not going to be scored on the understanding of the passages. You will be scored on the basis of your correct answers, right? So take care of the grammar, vocabulary, and spellings. If your spellings are mistake, if there's a spelling mistake in your answers, the answer is going to be wrong, even if it's correct. For example, if it is week, right, you have to write this week, and by chance you write this week, although the examiner understands what you are trying to write and you have written this by mistake, that will be wrong. There is no leeway given here, right? So here, I mean, they act a bit strict, but yes, this is how they act. For example, if the answer is women, right, and you write woman, so if it is wrong, it is wrong. They would not even consider that the concept is the same, but by mistake this could have been done. No, they do not consider that. They will straight away mark it wrong. The other thing is legible. You have to be very legible. So it is your choice. You can write in capital. Suppose I am writing atmosphere or Mr. White, right? So I can write in capitals. The other thing is I can write in the cursive, atmosphere. If I think my cursive writing is not very clear, so there comes a glitch, I can also write broken words like this. But take care, if it's Mr. White, I don't want to write in the capitals, I want to write in smalls. I cannot write like this. So this will be considered wrong. Why? Because this is a proper noun. So this will have to be written like this, right? So whatever way you choose, whatever technique you choose, that's absolutely up to you. But the concept is, it has to be legible and clear. So you should be practicing all your modules daily. It's not that like if you have 1 month before your exam, so you are just devoting 1 week for speaking, 1 for listening, 1 for reading, and 1 for writing. Don't do that. Why? Because if you've taken up speaking session in the very starting, and by the end of 3rd week or 4th week, if you go back to, pick up any test, you will not perform wonderfully. So to be into the practice, to be into the flow, you will have to practice all modules daily. And how you should do that? You have a speaking test of around 15 minutes, right? So with 3 sections. So if you don't have enough time, you can just practice 1 section daily. And whenever you practice, record your answers on your phone or your laptops. Listen to your recording, analyze your mistakes, be honest to yourself, correct your mistakes, right? Because finally it is the corrected one that should go to the examiner to be evaluated, right? Come on. Alright, so this comes to be the speaking test. If it's a listening test, you do not have time daily to do all the 4 sections. So maybe you can split those. You can do 2 sections. It's an half an hour recording, right? So for which covers 4 sections. So you can cover 2 sections in a day. That will be around 15 minutes, right? So utilize those 15 minutes for listening. So you have done a little bit of listening. So you are in that mode. Reading, you have 3 passages. There is absolutely no requirement to do all the 3 passages daily. Why? Because you're not going to get the same passage anyways. You have to practice the technique. So rather than doing all the 3 passages in a day, do 1 passage a day. That's only 13 to 14 questions in a day, should not be a big task. So you can take out 20 minutes. Coming on to the writing, you should do it 1 writing a day. Pick up a letter or pick up an essay, whatever. Do 1 writing in a day. So in all, I don't think so you are going to take more than 1.5 or like this much time, and that's very easily affordable. If not, you will have to work out to take out this time. Okay? So when you are writing, read the heading of the article very carefully. Why? Because when you read the heading of the article, you actually get an idea of what this passage is going to talk about. So your mind gets focused there. There is a bit of convergence of your thoughts to that heading of the article. Right? So underline the names. What all keywords should you underline? You should underline the names. You should underline the dates or the keywords. You should not underline the entire passage or everything, whatever you see, because what is the purpose of underlining? That this is something important and this is coming separate from the entire material. So if you just underline the entire passage, so there's no point. The purpose of underlining goes waste, right? So underlining something which is different from the others. Okay? So the other help which we get from this is chronological order. The best thing is, if we have questions, see, if we have question, this is the passage written. So for example, my first answer is here. My second answer will be after that. My third answer will be here. My fourth answer can be in the same sentence, but my fifth will be after that, right? It's not that my first answer is here, my second answer is here, but my third answer can again be here. No, it can never be that. So that is the advantage of chronological order. So when you read your questions, it's not that you should read only 1 question. You should read at least 2 or 3 questions at a time. So when you read these 2 to 3 questions, so you actually understand that if you have missed an answer to this question and you have come across the keyword of this, so you know that it is somewhere here. You will not go back for first answer, you will directly go back. You will not keep on searching here and there for that answer. So that is the advantage of reading 2 to 3 questions and the questions coming in the chronological order, right? Now what could be the type of questions which you could get? Missing words. They can give you a paragraph. It's not that if they're giving you a paragraph, the entire paragraph will be from one paragraph. For example, in the passage, suppose this is passage 1, and here it has A paragraph, here it has B paragraph, here it has C, and here it has D. But when I'm talking about questions, they give you 1 paragraph, and where you have to locate those missing words. Now it's not that if my first missing word or my first sentence comes from the B paragraph, the entire paragraph will be from the B paragraph. No, it's not like that. But if it's here, for sure it's not going to be in A, it will be coming down, right? So this is the style of giving the missing words. True, false, not given. Yes, no, not given. I just talked about this. They are more or less the same. But true, false, not given, this talks about something factual. And yes, no, not given talks about the writer's opinion. So if you can find that particular thing, maybe in the same format or with their synonyms or with their antonyms, and you can correlate that, and you find that answer, so means that is a correct answer. That's either true or yes. But if you do not find the same answer, you find some other answer, then the answer is no or false, right? If you do not find any related information in the paragraphs, means that's not given. So the answer has to be not given. Now you'll have to be careful if they ask you to write completely true, false, and not given. So write completely true, false, not given. If they ask you to write TF and NG, so write TF and NG, or YN or NG, right? Because if they ask you to write TF and NG and you write complete true, there is a possibility, there is a probability that they might mark this wrong. It actually depends on the your examiner, whosoever is taking the exam, because he has a valid reason for giving you a wrong score. But yes, if he is compassionate, he can consider this, but there is a risk factor associated with this, right? So that is the purpose, that you should read the questions very thoroughly. If they ask you to write completely true, so write TRUE. If they ask to write T, write only T, right? The other set of questions which you can get is a multiple choice questions. This is, considered by many students to be the most difficult, but if you follow the correct technique of answering, it's not difficult. When you have a question, okay, they give you, say, question 1. So with this, they give you 3 or 4 options, right? So read question 1, read all the options, pick up their keywords, and then correlate with the question. Do not directly jump to the answer when you find one keyword. That keyword might give a different information, right? So here you will have to be a bit careful, and there is a chance that you take a little bit more time than solving this sort of a question. So plan your things properly. Sentence endings. This is also similar to the missing words. You have a sentence and they leave the other part incomplete, and they ask you to write in around 2 words or no more than 3 words. So take those instructions carefully and answer accordingly, right? The other thing is match the headings. They will give you one paragraph. For example, in your passage you have paragraph A, you have paragraph B, you have paragraph C, right? So it's match the headings. Suppose they ask you what this is topic reading about. So when you are reading the essay, when you are reading the paragraph, just write the heading of this. If this is talking about history, write history. If this is talking about advantages, so just write the advantages. So this is how you can match the headings of the paragraph. The other is matching the paragraphs. It's similar to this way. So the other technique is, when you're reading it, just write the title of the paragraph, what this paragraph is talking about, and then you can solve it, right? Now, to give answers, there are certain approaches which we'll talk. One, some people read the passage completely and then go to the questions. But do you think, is it humanly possible to read the entire passage in 10 minutes and remember the entire passage or understand the entire passage? So for this, what you have to do is, when you go to the questions, to solve those, you will have to come back to the passage, right? So that's a waste of time. So rather, what I do is, I follow a reverse order. I read 2 or 3 questions, I start reading from the passage, pick up the keywords, and then answer. So initially I skim. Skim means, when I go to the question, I pick up the keyword from the question, I go to the passage, I just skim. I run my eyes like this. If I find a keyword here, now I'm going to scan. How will I scan? I will read 2-3 lines above it, I will read 2-3 lines below it, and then finally locate my answer, whatever the answer is, right? So one strategy is reading the passage, then going to the questions. The other is reading the questions and then going to the passage. These two are just as similar. Going to the passage, like in the passage you find the keywords and then you scan the answer. There is yet another technique which I just talked about in the previous slide. You read the passage, or you read the first 2 lines of the passage, you come to know what this passage is going to talk about. Write the title, as I talked, history. You read the next 2, go to the next passage, read the first 2 lines and talk about what this is talking about, advantages. Go to the third, see what it is talking about, disadvantages, and then go to the question. Understand the question thoroughly. Is the question asking about the advantages or disadvantages? Then go back to the, suppose it is asking about advantages, directly jump to this paragraph and look for your answer. First skimming, locate that keyword, and then scanning 2 lines above, 2 lines below, and get the answer, right? So basically there are 3 steps, that is skimming, which I just talked about. Skimming could be you can just run your eyes, or skimming we also call when we just reading 2 lines and writing the title. So that is also called skimming. Scanning is like when we scan any document, we try to reproduce each and every detail. So this is our keyword, right? So we go 2 lines, 3 lines above that, we read 2, 3 lines below that very carefully, and then reach the conclusion or pick up the answer. So for scanning, we'll have to do a thorough reading. All right. Now, time management. Don't spend too much time on each answer, right? Why? Because you have 40 questions to answer and you have only say how much time? 60 minutes to solve answers. Now, as I previously mentioned, that passage 1, 2, 3, the third is considered to be the most complex, the first one is considered to be the simplest. So the level of complexity increases from the passage 1 to passage 3, right? That's okay. But you should not, it's not that you should try to pick up your answers from passage 3 because it's most difficult, or passage 1 because it is the least difficult. I would say you should keep on attempting your answers as per the complexity of the questions, right? For example, as I just talked about, your first, when you have the question paper in front of you, the very first thing you should do is just run your eyes through the type of questions each passage has, right? For example, your first passage has multiple choice and fill-ups. Your second passage has yes, no, not given and fill-ups. Your third has match the headings and true, false. And for example, you're most comfortable in solving the questions which the second passage has. That's complete the sentences and true, false, not given. So pick up that passage first. Start doing that passage first. Utilize 15 minutes for that passage. Why? Why less time? Because you are very well versed. You are more comfortable with solving this sort of questions, this type of questions. So take 15 minutes and do the questions. Now it's not that you will have to do all those 13, 14 questions. Suppose for first you know the answer. For second, you know the answer. For third, you know the answer. Fourth, you don't know the answer. So leave it. When you are leaving it, just put a small mark in front of it. Go forward. Fifth, solve the answer. Sixth, solve the answer. For example, this is 7th question, which again you don't know the answer. So just put a star mark and go ahead. Till you complete all the 40 questions. Now you have solved the second passage first. You have taken 15 minutes. You solve this first. Now, for example, you find the questions related to the first passage you can do better. So go to that passage. Again, spend 15 times. Follow. Although if you're not very sure of it, but pick up the answer which you think is best for you. Do not leave it unattempted. Why? Because this IELTS exam, this doesn't give you negative marks, even if the answer is wrong. They will just mark it 0, but they will not give you -1, right? So if you, give a very close answer to this, to the unattempted question, so there is a possibility that that could be correct. So in case that is correct, you can get 1 mark, but in case if it is wrong, you're not going to get any mark. Yeah, if you sorry, there was some, I think, technological glitch, so the screen went off. I think we are connected again. Yeah, so we should be reading lots we should be reading lots of books, right? So whatever we read, we should practice that. For example, I was talking, if on the first day we retain only 50%, the second day we'll retain 70%, the third day we'll retain 90%. So it's not basically the understanding, it's actually to have those keywords in your mind and then picking up your answers, right? So strategy, I talked about so many approaches, so many strategies, so there are so many ways to pick up your answers. Practice when you are starting your preparation days, pick up each practice daily, keep on doing that. And once you feel that this works best for you, just stick to that, keep on practicing with that particular technique, do not keep on experimenting every day, right? Now, as I already mentioned, when it's the listening test or when it is the reading test, we are always at the receiving end. Receiving end means we have to locate the answers from the passage which is given to us. So 100% the answer to all the questions is in the passage, and we have to learn how to pick up the answers, right? There is no way that the answers are not there in the passage. They are very well there in the passage, right? So once you are done with the test, check your answers. Be yourself. If you think that any answer is if you think any answer is incorrect, right? So go back to the passage and then try to see why this answer is correct or what is the correct answer to it, right? So this is how, when you analyze your own mistakes or you correct your own mistakes, you are in a better position. You develop better skills to attempt, right? The other thing is specific questions. So as I just told, it's not that you should start working by the complexity of the passages. You should start working by the complexity of the questions, right? It's not necessary that you have to follow a sequence. Passage 1 has to be done first, then second, then third. You can start doing the second passage first, then you can start doing the third passage, and you can come to the first passage at the end. That's no problem. As long as you solve all the 40 questions, and the time is 60 minutes only, they're not going to give you any time extra for that. No hacks. There are no shortcuts, please. I have seen so many videos, sometimes talking about that if the question, for example, if I just came across one of those videos that was talking about like if it's a true, false or a not given question. If the question is too long, the answer most probably will be not given, right? If it's a direct sentence, you can see the sentence is direct question, so possibility of being it true. How can you assess that? If the question is long, what is the benchmark to say that till this word the question is not considered to be long, and beyond this it's considered to be long? We have no way of talking that, right? So there are no hacks, please. These are all myths, whatever you see, I would say. Be on it. So what are these mock tests? They are the tests which are given exactly on the lines of the exams. It's exactly like that. That's 3 passages with 40 questions and 60 minutes. We try to solve that way. We try to work on those strategies what we discussed. So I give a lot of practices for one day, 1.5 hour. Basically you get 1 hour for your exam. So we take 1.5 hour here. Why? 1 hour for solving and half an hour for revision. How we have to correct ourselves. How do we pick up the wrong answers? How do we correct those answers? Because that is the more important aspect to it, right? Although here you hardly get any time for revision. So please do not leave anything that you will revise it in the end. No, you never get that time. So if you leave that, so that will be left, right? So that is the reason, I was actually telling you to put a mark in front of the questions which you think are unattempted, which you have not solved. So directly, those 10 minutes which you have left, you will have to go directly only to those questions and do that. You will actually have no time to revise the rest of the answers which you have written. So whatever you write, think that you are writing the best answer to it. There is no scope of revision, no time for revision. And this is what we do in the half an hour session. We go back to every question. We try to pick up every correct answer. We try to pick up the technique, how we located the answer. We try to discuss all types of questions, right? So this is all what we do in our live classes. So in case you wish to be a part of our live classes, so you can get enrolled with us in the Unacademy team using the referral code. For subscription, you will need this referral code, that is Dr. Vibha Hans. This is my name, right? So you will have to use the referral code and get connected with me. So I'll be just enumerating some of the benefits which Unacademy gives us. It's a wonderful platform which has actually got all of us together. So we can work together and we can work the best so that you achieve the best. If we just go on for some private sessions, they are charging us no less than 8,000 or 10,000 rupees. But here for a month, they're charging very reasonable. It's something around 2,700 rupees per month. So if you connect using this referral code of mine, that is Dr. Vibha Hans, you get a 10% discount on that 2,700. And that comes out to be some 2,400 rupees per month. A wonderful package, I would say, where in this 2,400 you can have an access to all the live sessions which I take. And it's not only my live sessions, you can be a part of it and can have an access to the live sessions from all other educators as well. So for example, you have 1 month of preparation and I'm taking a course on writing task 2 and somebody else is taking a session on reading. So you can definitely be a part of that session as well. Somebody else is taking on speaking, you can be a part of that. Somebody taking on listening, you can be a part of that. So just evaluate that in 1 month, you are in a position to cover everything in this minimal amount. That's 2,400 rupees, right? So it's not only me, my lessons, you are free to attend the live sessions from all the educators, right? The other advantage of this is in case you missed some session, so there's nothing to get panicked about. All these sessions are recorded. You can go back to your link and have an access to that lesson and listen that lesson. Or else if you want to go back to that lesson again, maybe because of some practice, you can go back as many times as you want to those sessions and attend those sessions and be a part of it and do your practice revisions, right? There are so many videos on the YouTube or other channels where if they're giving you the practice material all for free. I agree to that, but the thing is, if you have to pick up, say, you want to practice speaking test, maybe you want to study something on technology. If you open up a technology, there will be so many videos. And it is who you will have to decide what is best for you, what actually you want, what actually you're searching for. So you'll have to go through all of those videos. You'll be wasting a lot of time, you'll be wasting a lot of energy, and by the time you have watched around 4 or 5 videos, your enthusiasm level actually droops down, right? So you don't have to worry about that here. We are doing that work for you. We are picking up the best material for you and just presenting it to you directly, so that rather than moving here and there or spending your time or spending your energy to pick up what is required for you, we are here to serve you what is required for you, right? So we are doing that homework for you, correct? So these are all the benefits of joining Unacademy team. If you wish, you can get connected with us using this referral code of mine, that's Dr. Vibha Hans, my name, and can get a 10% discount plus avail all the other benefits I just talked about, right? So with this, I would like to conclude my session for today. And if you have any queries, you can just mention in the comment box. That's open. I can be answering that here. I could see Shivani has posted so many questions. Yeah, I think I've given an answer to her questions. Any other questions, if they are here, you can just post it here in the comment section. You can keep the screen open for some time in case you wish to come up with your queries, anything related to IELTS, not only reading but general also. If you want to ask something about IELTS, that's okay. Yeah, so I think then we can conclude the session for today. Thank you so much for being there with me and being a part of this wonderful session. And good luck for your exams. And I think if you like the session, you'll definitely get enrolled with us, be a part of our live sessions, right? And happy studying IELTS till that time. Thank you.